Morning, everyone. Apologies that we are slightly later than usual, but obviously in the lead up to Sukkot, it's rather hectic and manic, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Hope you are well. Hope you are still on the highs from the high holy days. A brief idea and thought, which is all I'm sure we've heard a million times, but it's well worth saying. So we are approaching the festival of Sukkot. One of the most beautiful mitzvot that we have is the idea of the lulav and etrog, the four species, the lulav, which is the tall palm branch, the esrog, which is the citrus fruit. Then we have the adassim, which are the myrtle, and then you have the aravos, which are the willow. And each one of them represents a different type of Jew. The esrog represents the person, it's got smell and taste, and therefore it represents the knowledgeable Jew who's also got good deeds, who's learned and practices what he preaches, whereas the other ones have one or the other. Either they're learned or they're not learned, but they do good deeds. And the idea is quite simple. And if each aspect and facet of this mitzvah is inextricably linked to the other. In other words, I can't have, however beautiful my esrog is, which is the wise sage with the good deeds. If that's all I have, if I'm just standing there on my own, it's no good. I'm not going to be able to achieve anything. The only way that I can perform the mitzvah is if I take all the different elements and I put them together. Everyone has something to add, something to contribute towards the greater good. And that's the message, the first message of the lulav and etrog, to recognize that each and every one of us is essential. And if one of us has a fault, if I've got a blemish, an invalidation with my lulav or with my etrog or with my adassim or with my aravos, even though the others may be absolutely perfect and beautiful and upright and straight, it doesn't help. We are all bound to each other, the same way that the four species are bound to each other. We're all bound, and our faith leads to our fate, our collective fate, and therefore it's inevitable and it's essential that we recognize the greater responsibility that we have. We matter, we count. That's the message of the lulav and etrog. Every Jew counts. We can't manage without any one of you. That's the first message that I want to share. Second message of the of Sukkot is the idea of the sukkah. So we know that we are meant to leave our permanent homes and to venture out into the gardens. At the moment, it's quite encouraging. It may even be warm, sunny, may even be without rain. Last year, you may remember torrential rain. What's the idea? Why is it that we do this? And many would suggest, as one of the kids in the children's service said to me yesterday, well, we're remembering the fact that they didn't have they lived in the desert and they lived with the divine protection, right? So basically, that suggestion, which is partially correct, means that we're just reminiscing of a bygone era. Nothing could be further from the truth. The whole idea of us venturing in the sukkah is for us to recognize that God protected the Jews in the desert when there was nothing around them, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, no homes, nothing. And we are in exactly the same position now. This year more than ever, it should be so easy for us to be able to relate, to connect to the mitzvah sukkah, to recognize our fragility, which we have through COVID, through the pandemic. God is reminding us that we need him. We shouldn't think that we can live our lives independent and that we don't need any assistance, any help. Everything we are dependent on God. The same way that when we leave our homes and we venture out into the garden under some flimsy structure, we recognize and we are able to remind ourselves that really we are dependent on God for all our needs and our protection. So that's my two messages today. We'll continue tomorrow. Apologize, it's a bit late and a bit rushed, but obviously you can imagine with one proper day to prepare, it's exceptionally a lot to pack in one day, and therefore I'm sure you will forgive me. I hope so. Wishing you a great day. Look after yourselves. Shabbat. Well, we say Chag Sameach and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.